Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I wanted to share a flip through of my December daily album from 2020. I had a few videos talking about how I was going to try to change up my album, keep it a little simpler, put less pressure on myself. I did actually end up with a picture every day and an entry for every day, which was awesome, but I definitely kept it simpler in general. So I just thought I would share a flip through. I will definitely link the supplies that I use down below. If you see something that I miss out on, make sure to leave me a comment and I will let you know what it is and where I found it. All right, let's go. Okay, I was really hesitant to start my December daily album this year just because it was such a different year. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't know if I would be excited to work on it, and it turned out I was. Even though our holiday celebration definitely looked a lot different this year, it was still nice to document, and I think it's important to document the good and the bad for sure. So here's my title page using elements from Kelly Bangs, and I wrote in a year filled with so much darkness, let's end with some sparkle. And so I did try to kind of include sparkle throughout the album, and you'll see that as we go. Here is my intentions page, done mainly with Felicity Jane. I have a little typed up note here about how this December would be different and how my family was trying to focus on new traditions and new things that we would try to bring in the season with. This was a new addition for me this year that I really liked. So it's a little 3x8 card, and it has 1 through 24. I always document through the 25th actually. And I just wrote what each day was going to be. And this helped me as I was going back. I wasn't always on top of my album as far as documenting that particular day. So when I would go back to do some catch up, this helped me kind of remember what I had wanted to document for sure. So this is definitely something that I will be carrying forward in my future December dailies. The first started out super exciting. My husband was promoted to Master Sergeant, and so I have those photos of our family at the promotion, a little flip up here. There's his mom and the details of what happened that day. I had fun creating several pocket cards throughout this album, and you'll see that here with my number 1. And then here we are on the second, kind of just a regular day around here, but what I was documenting was a new tradition, which we bought a Lego set, a Harry Potter Lego set that we kind of worked on as a family right at the beginning of December, and it kind of went along with a Lego advent calendar that my kids opened throughout the month. So just documenting that new tradition of Legos. December 3rd was a big day. My boys, who are in first grade, returned to school. Our school system is doing a hybrid system and kind of allowing kids to come back little by little. So first graders returned to school on December 3rd, so documenting that. And my daughter is still at home enjoying virtual school with her puppy at home. I loved the sequins. So each of the kits I got from Hip Kit Club and from Felicity Jane had sequins this month, and it was fun to include those, and I loved the little stars kind of trailing throughout. Here I documented, we watched a lot of movies this season because there were not as many activities to go to. So I did our top 5 movies: Jingle Jangle, Home Alone. My kids love Home Alone. I think it's so hilarious. Noelle, The Grinch, and Love Actually Always. That is my favorite for sure. On December the 4th, I got to have a new experience of teaching an online class for the 12 crafts of Christmas. I had such a fun time, and so I included this little picture of my craft room like destroyed after I taught that online class. It was so messy. So, but totally worth it. Totally worth it. And I love the different size pages to where I didn't feel like I had to do a full page for each day. That made it a lot easier for me. And then December 5th, this was a trip to McDonald's. We had a kind of a frustrating experience heading in to the city. We live just outside of Washington, D.C., and we were going in for an activity, and then the line for the activity ended up being super long. It was a drive-through activity, and we had to leave early because it was just taking so long. And so to cheer everyone up, we got McDonald's on the way home. So there's our McDonald's, enjoying that. December the 6th is our wedding anniversary. So I documented our 12th wedding anniversary. We actually did get to go out on a date, which is something we haven't done in a really long time. I have a few little notes here about what happened that day and the beautiful flowers that my husband got me. Again, really simple spreads, but it's definitely documenting what happened in the month and something that's going to be fun to look back on. I really love this spread. So one of the things that we have discovered throughout this pandemic and quarantine period is some beautiful trails near our house. And so my kids love this area they call the Rocks. They always want to go to the Rocks. And so December 7th was kind of a busy morning. And so in the afternoon, we made time to get out and get to the Rocks. You can see it was real cold. We were all bundled up, but we had such a good time just going out on those trails. And I was glad I was able to kind of document that in this December album because that's been an important part of our whole year. Here on the 8th, you're going to see a lot of pictures of just us at home because that's what December was, and that's okay. We were working on a little video for church for our virtual church musical, and then of course some extra cuddles on the couch, and this was a fun page. This actually, I was able to use up almost all of some stickers that I had left over from last year, and it's always good to kind of finish up some supplies, and so I was able to finish up that sticker sheet and loved that. The 10th was documenting beginning to wrap presents, and I very much dislike wrapping presents, which seems weird because I'm a crafty person. I like pretty things, but wrapping presents is one of those tasks that I don't necessarily enjoy. So I always try to start early so that it doesn't have to be this marathon session. And so just wanted to take a picture that I started on the 10th, started working on it, started getting it done. Here we're documenting our Christmas card that my family sent out, and then I took a picture. We always put all of our Christmas cards up on a wall, and we actually leave it up for most of February too, because it is my favorite part of the Christmas season is giving and receiving cards. I just love it. So I definitely wanted to include that in the documenting. So it doesn't have a day associated with it, but I always like to include our card because I think that's an important thing. And then I always include our wall of Christmas cards as well. On the 11th, I chose to document our tradition of Advent books. So every December, I go to the library and I check out 24 books about Christmas, and I wrap them up under the tree, and we open one a day in the evenings and read as a family. And so here is my husband reading with my two boys, and my daughter's on the floor. You can't see her there. So I wanted to document that we are still doing that tradition. It's a lot of fun. The kids really look forward to it. The library books have worked out really well. They open it and then I just return them after the fact, so it doesn't actually cost us any money more than the wrapping paper. So it's been a fun tradition, and I love that my kids look forward to it each year. December the 12th, a very merry unconventional Christmas. So my church usually does a huge Broadway style musical for the holidays, and it's wonderful. And my husband is the orchestra director, and I was a participant last year, as was my daughter. But this year that just wasn't safe, not something that was going to happen at our church. So what they did was a virtual musical. They did small skits, some different recording sessions with people spaced far apart, and then they put it all on YouTube, and it was so awesome. And there was a premiere date and time, and that was December the 12th, and they even had an opportunity to kind of go through after every musical. During normal years, we have a big hot chocolate party with cookies from all over the world, and so they had a pickup, a drive-through pickup where you could pick up some delicious cookies and some hot chocolate packets, and so we celebrated at home. So I have my boys, my kiddos with the cookies right there, and we enjoyed the Christmas program in the safety of our home and absolutely loved it. On December 13th, I have a pocket card here. So the plan is when we do take Christmas cards down to take a few of my favorites and put them in here. But December 13th, I am documenting that that is the day that my husband finished putting up Christmas lights, and it is his least favorite kind of holiday chore. So I thought it was funny. He always tries to delay it as long as possible, and then they end up staying up longer than probably I would like after Christmas, but that's okay because we all still enjoy them. So there are one of my sons, my daughter, my husband posing after the Christmas lights are up. And I had a lot of fun adding stitching and texture, especially on these pieces that are not in page protectors, because you can really feel that texture. It is so nice and so inviting to the touch. So I love that. And I loved being able to use chipboard pieces, some puffy pieces that I don't normally use in my everyday journaling because they add so much bulk. But as far as my December daily goes, I love, love, love all of the chunk. All right, December 14th, you can see I'm starting to keep it really simple. We are just like busting through days at this point. Dropped off some Starbucks for a few of my friends just as a happy holiday surprise. And then we made plans as a family to watch Jingle Jingle. So it's a picture of my son with some popcorn in my lap and watching that movie, which is a great movie. If you haven't watched it yet, make sure to check that out. So Jingle Jangle, and then just some simple cards right there. The 15th turned out to be my son's last day of in-person school because even though it looks beautiful out there, we had snow predicted for the next day. And so I just wanted to document that. And then they were posing. Their sweet teacher made them masks to wear at school. She made the whole class some fun masks with some fun fabric that they were super excited about. So took their picture and then just wrote about surprise, there would be no more school. That would be our last day. December 16th was our snow day, but I'm going to say snow in quotation marks because it turned out to kind of be a bust, but that's okay. We still had fun. So I documented, this is just a picture of my morning quiet time, what it looks like with my Bible and my faith planner and my prayer journal. And then I actually walked downstairs to my basement while my kids were playing after I did my morning quiet time and saw this, that they had put together some various pillows and dress up clothes to make a Santa sitting in a chair with arms. And I thought it was adorable. So I took that and added it in, and I have these dividers. So this is, I like how it's not in the page protector. It just provides a variation in the album. So I like switching back and forth. Snow or bust. It turned out to be a bust for sure. But in the end, we made cookies. And so I feel like once you make cookies, then a snow day is a win for sure. I have here a card that just describes how it was a snow day, how we were all kind of in a weird mood because I think we were just disappointed that it didn't actually snow. But in the end, my boys kind of scraped up snow from the deck and had themselves a little snowball fight, which was a lot of fun. And then we did make cookies. So I like using these pockets. Again, I love interactive elements in scrapbooks because it kind of invites you to dig in a little bit, which I think is a lot of fun. So I love including little bits like that as I'm working in my December daily. Okay, this is a fun divider page that I made. I decided to kind of divide off the 1st of December from the second half, which is when we had holiday break, so no school. So a few more fun events here and there. And it gave me the chance to make this giant shaker card, which was a lot of fun, and to include Sweet Cocoa, which is the girl for December for Felicity Jane. I always love, love, love those cards, so I was glad to include that. And then on the back, I added, we need a break. Virtual school is super hard. And I don't know that I've ever been more excited for a holiday break. And I would imagine that teachers kind of felt the same. And I know my kids felt the same. It was just a hard fall with virtual school and kind of returning to in-person. And it was a lot. So we need a break. And I liked having this break in my album just to kind of define the two halves. On the 18th, which was the last day of school, to celebrate, we did a gingerbread house making party with our Bubble family. So another family in our neighborhood that we just love to pieces, and they are the Bubble family that we hang out with all of the time. And so I have pictures of all of my kiddos and their kiddos working on their gingerbread houses. It turns out gingerbread houses are harder than we thought. So we were making them out of graham crackers. And my kids reminded me after we started that when they do that at school, they have those milk cartons as kind of a base for their graham crackers, and I didn't think of that in advance. So we had a little trouble with our general structures, but in the end, they got to eat a bunch of candy. So I don't think that it was a failure for the kiddos for sure. I liked these kind of smaller pages, again, just to change it up. I like changing the sizes. I think it adds some variety to the album. And again, lots of 3D chipboard pieces were used. And then I loved these little pockets. On December the 19th, the first full day of holiday break, I had a virtual Zoom party with some of my best friends, my planner girls, the moms that I love spending time with, and we have not gotten to meet in person in 9 months, but we've been having Zoom meetings and been having fun planning together and hanging out in our craft rooms via Zoom. So we had a Christmas theme one where we all dropped off presents at each other's houses and then opened them, which was awesome. And then in the evening, this is the fire pit at our Bubble family's house, and it is my favorite place to be over quarantine. So just wanted to take a picture of that. No better day than to get to see my friends and then get to end it over at the Sills house. I absolutely love it. The 20th was a super quiet day for us. So I only grabbed one picture of evening hangout time with my son hanging on my lap, and you can see some puppy paws with my dog on my lap as well. So just quiet day at home. The 21st, the boys insisted on trying again for our gingerbread house making, but I think in the end they were just trying to eat candy, but that's okay. They had fun. It was a fun time for us. So simple on these days. We were just relaxing to the max, and so I did not get very many pictures, and that's okay. No worries about that. The 22nd, we actually went to see some Christmas lights. So I had my kids, they had never seen a Muppets Christmas Carol. And so we watched that. I'm not sure if they liked it or not, but I loved seeing it. And then we took them by Chick-fil-A to get some shakes and then drove around to look at Christmas lights. It was a fun holiday activity. I liked making these little cards in the background, and these little reindeer with their sassy outfits were given out by the Well for God, I think 2 years ago, and I've been saving them and using them in bits and pieces, and these were the last of my little reindeer. I love, love, love them. And again, it was fun to get to dig into some old supplies and use them all up from my stash. And so you can see it's kind of bits and pieces here and there, and I loved it. I loved having all the choices. I loved getting to pick and choose. I still have a ton of supplies left over, so I definitely need to consider that next year when I'm working in my album or preparing for December Daily, that I probably don't need all of the different supplies. I don't need to necessarily invest in a bunch of new supplies for next year. The 23rd, we had the most gorgeous weather in Northern Virginia, and so the day was spent outside, especially in the afternoon. You can see the kiddos playing with neighbor friends. And the other thing that happened on the 23rd, it's hard to see in the picture right here, but we gave our kids a trampoline for Christmas. And the 24th, or Christmas Eve, was supposed to be pouring rain all day. So my husband worked on the 23rd with some of our neighbors to move the trampoline after the kids went to bed on the 23rd, and then we had to keep it a secret from them in our backyard all day on the 24th, and that was really difficult but so worth it. And so I just wanted to document. I mean, I love the pictures of dads working on Christmas presents, and he is just the best dad ever. He was out there, it was super cold, he was out there at 9-10 o'clock at night working on that trampoline, getting it installed before all of the rain came, and they absolutely flipped out on Christmas morning. They loved their trampoline. It was an awesome surprise, so I loved getting to document that. Okay, we are up to Christmas Eve, and we spent the evening with our friends that are our Bubble family. Normally we would be with our family, and normally they would be with their family. So this was a new experience for us, but we have spent so many holidays with them this year that it's really become a super enjoyable thing for our kiddos. The kids exchanged presents, which was super fun. They watched the Polar Express. We had, we ordered in Mexican food, you know, traditional Christmas Eve service, and we had a lot of fun. And I just wrote a note about how it was awesome getting to spend the time with that family to really enjoy each other, because they have meant so much to us, especially this year during the quarantine. So love getting to take pictures of all those kiddos. And then of course we have Christmas Day. I love these acetate dividers and these large cutouts to kind of divide up different sections. And of course I had a ton of pictures from Christmas and definitely wanted to include as many as possible. All right, and here we are at Christmas Day. We have the Santa presents sitting out on Christmas morning, and then the reactions, the excitement. I love this photo of my daughter being so excited over Legos. She got some different things. Love the spontaneous moment with my kiddos. They decided to all give each other a hug, which was so sweet. We have a Christmas morning tradition. It looks kind of gross, but it is cinnamon rolls in the shape of a Christmas tree. And my mom always did it growing up. And so I do it too for my kids, and they loved it. Just some random pictures of Christmas morning, opening books, some sweet pictures of my puppy. And then the mark of any good Christmas day is the afternoon nap with the parents being super tired. So that was our Christmas. That was our December. That's my December album. It was a different December. It was a quieter December, but it was still lovely and wonderful. And in the end, I'm super glad that I took the time to document it. Like I said, I wasn't sure that I wanted to. I wasn't sure that I really had the holiday spirit, that I had enough to do a December daily album, but I did, and I'm super pleased that I'll have this to look back on to document this really unique time in our lives. Let me know how your December daily album is going. Are you done? Do you prefer to wait until after December to work on it? Just let me know. I'd love to hear how your project is going. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. Like I said before, I will link as many supplies as I can down below so you can check those out. Otherwise, I hope you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.